Hello, everyone. Welcome to the International Free Webinar. Thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar. I am super excited to have you here. Excited to all the amazing conversations and discussions with you. I am your host for tonight. My name is Rohamina Gapur. I am a Filipino currently living in Thailand. So before we formally begin our program, let me give you a little bit background about IGP for those participants who are new tonight. So Institute of Global Professionals serves as a resource to students and the community. This Institute of Global Professionals providing holistic social work and education to create a competent generation. We have organized this webinar, training, offline and online courses from best and trained speakers, trainers from all over the world to create a best learning platform for all of you. Our mission is to empower people and improve their skills. And we have successfully completed the 246 webinars. Tonight, we are proud to present 247 webinar with two brilliant speakers from the Philippines, Dr. Narciso I. Ambrosio and Mom Nancy M. Garcia. So our topic tonight is about inquiry-based approach in the 21st century teaching. Okay, so let us move on to the first speaker. Our first speaker is Dr. Ambrosio. Dr. Ambrosio is currently the head teacher He is a good leader.
I think there is a network problem from Mem Rohamina's side. So I'd like to introduce our
Either positive or negative. Once again, to our lovely students, I am very sorry because my internet connection is not stable. So I'm very, very sorry for that. Okay, so without further ado, please help me welcome our first speaker, intelligent and energetic speaker, none other than Dr. Narciso I. Ambrosio, all the way
Hello.
from the Philippines. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening,
Yes,
Ma'am
sir.
Rohamina. And hello to our global audience. Okay, so I think our moderator for tonight, as she mentioned a while back, she is having internet technical problem, right, ma'am?
Yes.
How are
Yes,
you?
ma'am. I'm doing good, but I feel I'm not
Yeah,
comfortable right now. But it's okay. It's okay.
yes, the show must go on.
The show must go on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So will I start having my discussion now, ma'am?
Yes, sure, sir.
So
Okay,
can
good
I
luck,
present
sir.
okay, can I present my screen and kindly check if it is visible?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Can you see it now, ma'am?
Coming, sir. All right. Okay,
Okay.
sir, we can see it now.
Okay, so how about this, ma'am? Can you see my presentation now?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, not yet.
Ah, okay, sir, we can see it now.
Okay, so you can see it now. So before will I start my
Yes.
discussion for tonight, let me just first acknowledge the key person and important organization who brought me here in this platform. First and foremost, of course, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Kaushik Girata, the director and founder of Institute of Global Professionals. Sir, thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah. Okay, ma'am. I okay. So I would like to. How about this? Can you see it now? So to Dr. Kashik Data, director and founder of IGP, to Dr. Ronaldo A. Pason, CESO 5, the Schools Division Superintendent, SD of Tarlac Province, to Dr. Conrado C. Domingo, Education Program Supervisor 1 in Science, to Dr. Augusto Ballesteros, Education Program Supervisor 1 in Mathematics, to Dr. Ariel V. Calvo, Principal 2 of Dabdab High School, to Dr. Redentor Tabamo, Head Teacher 3, and Sir Hilbot from Benigno S. Aquino National High School, Dabdab High School family, science and mathematics teachers, and of course, my team best friend forever. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. Thank you so much for the support and the love. Okay, so now let's get started. So our topic for tonight is all about the inquiry-based approach in the 21st century. So with a subtopic, of course, we will going to gain thorough understanding of the inquiry-based approach in the 21st century and compare the traditional approach and inquiry-based approach in teaching. Okay, but before that, we were going to have an engagement activity. And that engagement activity is all about four picks, one word. So now may I ask our global audience to please participate by typing your answer in our chat pane using your mobile phone or any gadgets available in your house. Okay, so at present, I'm going to browse the YouTube and looking for the comment section to watch for your answer. So you may going to type in your answer by, of course, getting clues from the pictures that I'm going to present. Okay, are you ready, my global audience? Okay, so let's get started. Let me have the first picture. Okay, so can you guess the word now? You may type in your answer. Okay, the answer is. Ay, yeah. Okay, what is the answer? So I'm seeing, okay, let me read. Coming from Lian, it says inquiry. From Carlo Ibanez, inquiry. Okay, so let us check. Okay, very good, my dear global audience. It is inquiry. How about the next picture? Okay, so can you guess? So I can see your responses in our YouTube channel. Okay, so coming from Maricon Francia from the Philippines, she said teaching. And also coming from Aldrin Ponce, classroom. And then from Melanie Rivera, teaching. From Diane Rose Vergara, collaboration. Let us see if it's correct. Okay. Okay, so I can see many responses, and I am glad to hear your responses from our YouTube comment section. So it is, okay, teaching. Very good, my dear global audience. Okay, next. This is the last four picks one word. So what can you say, or what is the word for these pictures? Okay. So I'm so proud and so glad that our global audience is participating in our platform. Okay. So I can see answer from coming from Sharina Bundalian, 21st century. from J. Ann Amancio, 21st Century. And okay, we also have from Madam Lorraine Sagat, 21st Century. Kat Siron, 21st Century. Then, okay, so I can see Lilibet de Vera, 21st Century. Cecile Manipon, 21st Century. Melanie Rivera, 21st Century. So let us check if your answer is correct, my dear audience. Okay, so let us see. So it is 21st century. So give yourself a virtual clap. Congratulations to all who got the correct answer. Okay, so that is for our engagement activity. So since now we are engaged, let us have our session objective. What is our objective for tonight? So the first two, I mentioned it a while back, but I'm going to read it once again. So for our objective, the first one is gain thorough understanding of the inquiry-based approach in the 21st century. Second, compare the traditional approach and inquiry-based approach in teaching. The third one is differentiate open, guided, structured, and limited inquiry from one another. And the fourth one, or the last one, explain the 5 and 7 E's in inquiry-based teaching. So the first two, I'm going to explain it to you. And the second two, the third and the fourth, will explain by the next speaker. Okay? So are you ready, my dear global audience, participants all over the globe? So let's start. So in order for us to understand with regards to the first objective, the inquiry-based approach in the 21st century, let us first have a brief discussion with regards to 21st century education. So in order to do that, we need to answer this guide question. So what does it mean to teach in the 21st century? The second, what are the characteristics of the 21st century teachers and 21st century learners? And lastly, being a 21st century teacher, what are the appropriate teaching strategies that could be used to address the needs of the 21st century learners? Okay, so are you ready? Let us now answer our guide question. So the first one, what does it mean to teach in the 21st century education? So with our definition here in your screen, a 21st century education is about giving students the skills they need to succeed in this new world and helping them to grow the confidence to practice those skills. With so much information readily available to them, 21st century skills focus more on making sense of that information, sharing, and using it in a smart way. But the question is, what are those skills? So let me ask once again our global audience. Do you know what are the skills that the learners needs to develop or need to acquire in our classroom? You may type in your answer in our Google or Facebook Live or YouTube comment section. Okay? So according to Sir Ariel Sicalbo, computer skills. Who else? We also have here communication skills coming from our audience, from Bianca Galang, technology skills or the media literacy skills. What else? Coming from our global audience, so I am very honored and touched that you are participating. So coming from Ted Perez, critical thinking skills. Coming from Mary Ann Botogan, collaboration skills. Ayan. I can see responses coming from you, my dear audience. You are very, very good. Okay, so in general, okay, so we have many different skills that the learners need to develop in the 21st century. We have the critical and problem solving skills, the collaboration skills, being adaptive skills, curiosity skills or being curious, communication skills, leadership skills, media literacy skills, social skills, and life skills. So those skills are very important for us, okay, for the learners, for them to become a lifelong learners, which is the meaning of the slide for tonight. Okay, the second one is what are the characteristics of the 21st century teachers and 21st century learners? Okay, so let us start with the characteristic of the 21st century teachers. Okay, as you can see in your screen, we have, as a teacher in this modern time, we should be the risk taker, we also be the learner, the communicator, the visionary, the model, the adapter, and the collaborator. Okay? So the risk taker, meaning you are a teacher ready to risk anything to achieve your goals. And being a learner or the learner, you also keep on learning and relearn. Learn and relearn are the key for this because as a teacher, we need to upgrade ourselves. And of course, the communicator, you are a teacher that you can convey information or knowledge, okay, to your students. Then, a visionary, the ability of a teacher to see the future or plan for the future with wisdom. And as the model, teacher always be a model because we are the model of good behavior and character. Next, as the adapter, meaning you are a teacher ready or can adjust to any kind of situation or environment. And lastly, as the collaborator, meaning you are a teacher readily to work with one another or to your colleague. So, as a teacher in the 21st century, you should possess all these characteristics. Can I have your thumbs up, my dear global audience? I know globally, okay, our participants are more likely are all teachers. So you have all these characteristics, and if you have this, I am so very proud of you all, guys. So now let's move on to the characteristic of the 21st century learners. Okay, so as a learner, so listen, if there are learners listening out there in our platform globally, so you should have or you should possess this characteristic. First, you have to show respect, being focused, problem solving, using common sense or high common sense, working with others or collaborating with one another, showing care, being persevering, which means you are able to rise again whatever kind of situation, then risk taker as well, being willing to work, being responsible, being motivated, and feeling confident or confident. So, to our dear learners out there globally, you should possess all these characteristics in order for you to keep going or make yourself a lifelong learners. Okay, so we are done with the second one. Okay, now let's move on to the third one, which is the question number three. Being a 21st century teacher, what are the appropriate teaching approaches that could be used to address the needs of the 21st century learners? Okay, so basically, I have just only here, okay, wrote some of the approaches that we can use. We have inquiry-based approach, we have collaborative learning approach, problem-solving based approach, and project-based approach. But for tonight, we were just going to deal with inquiry-based approach. We were going to dig deeper with this approach. Okay? So now we were going to have a better grip with regards to inquiry-based approach in the 21st century teaching. Okay, so let us explain each definition to gain thorough understanding with the inquiry-based approach. Okay, the first one, inquiry-based approach is allowing students' question and curiosities to drive them to participate in a discussion or activities. So as a teacher, we should entertain the question of our learners. Okay, we should not discourage them because when the students ask questions and we teachers entertain that questions, when it's very related to our lesson, they will feel welcome, they will feel loved in order to answer their curiosities, of course. So, as a teacher, we should entertain the question of our learners to answer their curiosities, of course, and to increase the participation in the discussion or in any activity inside our classroom. Okay, that's the first one. The second one begins with gathering information through applying the human senses. Okay, so basically we have five senses, right? We have the sense of sight, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Using all these senses, learners can able to gather information. And in the 21st century, in inquiry-based approach, all the sensors are being used. So take note of that. And number three, encourages or inquiry-based approach encourages learners to question, conduct research for genuine reasons, and make discoveries on their own. Okay, so as I said earlier, as a teacher, we are encouraging learners to ask questions because inquiry-based approach primarily develop the higher order thinking skills of the learners. That's why we should encourage them to ask. And likewise, us as teachers, we should throw questions that are HATS as well, or higher order thinking skills question. And of course, they are going to conduct research and for genuine reasons and make discoveries on their own. And the fourth one, transform the teacher into a learner with students, and students transform, become teachers with us. So in inquiry-based approach, it is a two-way process, the teaching and learning, wherein sometimes or there are point in time in a discussion that we teachers will become a student sometimes. But also in the inquiry-based classroom, the student will become teacher or will serve as repertoire or reporter in a certain topic in our discussion. Because in the 21st century, we may have idea that the learners doesn't know, or the learners have an idea that us teachers doesn't know. That's why there are times we will become a student, and the teacher or the student will become the teacher. In some cases, that is inquiry-based approach. And lastly, honor previous experience and knowledge. Yes, it's true because inquiry-based approach, okay, anchored to constructivism theory, which is a constructivism theory, which means learners learns best through their experience. That's why in inquiry-based approach, we honor the previous experience of the learners, and it will become now a concrete knowledge because they learn from their experience. And again, that is according to the constructivism theory, wherein the learners learns best through their experiences. Okay? So I hope you learn something from the inquiry-based approach definition. Okay? Okay. So now let's move on to the next slide. So our next slide is a question. So what are the dominant activities in an inquiry-based classroom? So we have here, so I have listed here five dominant activities in an inquiry-based classroom. Okay, so we have questioning, we have investigating, we have using evidences to describe, explain, and predict, and we also have connecting evidences to knowledge and sharing of knowledge. Okay, so now let us explain one by one, or let us have a brief explanation about this, the dominant activities in an inquiry-based classroom. Let's start with the questioning. So as a teacher, let me ask our global audience now. As a teacher, how is your art of questioning inside your classroom? How do you throw your question to your learners? Okay, so you may answer. Once again, I'm asking the global audience. So may I ask the participation of our global audience all around the world to answer my question. In questioning or in throwing question to our learners, how do you have the art of questioning, or how do you throw your question to your learners? Okay, so let me see a response. Okay, so according to Ma'am Maricon Francia, okay, so she said using hats or the higher ordering thinking skills. To Madam Katrina de la Cruz, she answered use of hats. To Madam Glyza Pineda from the Philippines, okay, she said using hats. From Riza Regalia, using hats. From Sharina Bundalian, she said using higher order thinking skills question. From Madam Jeresa Cabales, as well hats. Okay. So to my dear global audience, to the teachers or to the global teachers out there, you are correct. In answering or in throwing question to our learners, we need to have the higher order thinking skills questions. Why? Because it helps us develop learners to think critically. Let's say, for example, you ask them why or how is the process of evaporations occur. In that sense, the learners will think how she or he answered to your question. Aside from that, why is oxygen is important in our body? So those questions So in our classroom, we need to have the higher order thinking skills question in order for us or in order for the learners to think critically so that they may able to explain, describe whatever answer that may pop up in their minds, and of course share it in the class. Okay. The next one is investigation or investigating. Investigation, the learners carry out a systematic answer and examine the facts to establish the truth. That is investigation. So it's a systematic process and it's happened in the class in our classroom. So in investigating, once again, it's a formal systematic to carry out a systematic examination. So in examination, of course, coupled with using evidences, which is our number three. Using evidences to describe, explain, and predict. So when investigating, of course, the learners are able to get evidences. And if the learners have those evidences, therefore, they can now describe, explain, and predict what happened in that particular activity inside your classroom. And of course, when they have those activities, they can ready now to connect all those activities and produce knowledge, produce facts, produce truths. And of course, after that, when they connect those and they produce knowledge or facts, they are already ready to share what are their findings inside inside of the classroom. They can have in a reporting way, or in a drama role, or in any form of strategy or approaches that you want, or a specific method that you want. So once again, these are the dominant activities in an inquiry-based classroom. So let me just repeat: questioning, investigating, using evidences to describe and explain and predict, connecting evidences to knowledge, and sharing of findings. Okay? So now let's move on to the next one. Okay, our next slide is another question. Why is inquiry important in teaching? Do you think it is important? Let me ask once again our global audience. Do you think that inquiry-based approach is important in teaching? So let me check my phone to check if you have answer. So according to Rowena Silva, she said yes, it is important in the classroom or in teaching. According to Madam Alanco Nympha, she said yes. To Misaya Peña, she said yes. Carmencita Aguilia, she said yes. From Madam Lorraine Ugsad, she said yes. From Ma'am Diana Boras, yes. Okay, I can see responses from different area of the globe, and they said yes. And definitely, yes, it's a yes. It's a big yes. It is very important in our classroom, especially in this time, in this 21st century. Okay, so now, what are the importance of inquiry based in teaching? So in inquiry-based teaching or in inquiry-based approach, we prepare learners to live in a world that is non-static, which means we allow learners to grow. We don't isolate learners inside our classroom. Okay, we allow them to grow because in the 21st century, we develop lifelong learners, which means they are able to face any challenges that may arise along their way because they are imbued or embodying the skills that we taught to them. So as a recap, what are the skills once again? We have the critical thinking skills, the problem solving skills, media literacy skills, life skills, and many more. Then, of course, the second one, enable learners to cope with changes that will increase in complexity throughout their lives, which means they can able to adjust. Because as a recap, no, as a recap, learners are adaptive also. They can able to adjust from one environment to another. Like for instance, at present, we have the pre-pandemic and now the pandemic, but still the education must continue. That's why they grasp they grip on the online or different online platform. That's why the education or the delivery of education continued, right? And of course provide learners tools for continuing education, attain important outcomes in the classroom, and develop useful problem solving skills. So those are the importance of inquiry based approach in teaching, because once again we are developing learners or lifelong learners readily, okay, to face the world okay, to face any challenges or struggle that may arise along their way. Okay, so that's why it's a big yes that inquiry-based approach is very important approach that we can use inside our classroom, whatever situation, whatever circumstances, pandemic, pre-pandemic, or without pandemic at all. Okay, so next, I'm going to show you two pictures. Okay. So we have here the instruction. List down narrative as many as you can that will compare and contrast the situation depicted by or in the pictures. Use the template provided below for your answer. So may I ask once again our global audience to participate that I'm going to show two pictures and then you're going to write all your observation. Okay. And while having your observation or writing your narratives, I will play a Christmas song. And once the Christmas song ended, we were going to start or continue our discussion. Is that right? Is that okay with you? Okay. So I will show you now the two different pictures, and you may start listing your narratives or observation. At your home, at your different houses, you may use your pen and paper. Okay. Okay, now, so here are the two pictures. I will play music. So by the way, if the music having a copyright issue, according to our organizer, she will stop the music right away. So bear with us if that happens. Okay, wait, can you hear the music? It's not playing. Can you play? Can you hear it, my dear audience? Can you please write or type in your answer on the chat box or the comment box in the YouTube or in our Facebook Live? Okay, so I think our organizer cut the music because maybe for a copyright issue. So let's get it on. Let's continue. So maybe I will just ask the global audience. Is that okay with you? And they said, yes. Okay. I'm so happy that you responded yes. So even without music, learner or learning must continue. Okay. So let me just ask you now. Okay. You may again use our online platform, the Facebook Live or the YouTube comment section to type in your answer. So let me ask you, what is your observation with regards to the first picture that can be seen on the left side of your screen? Okay. Can you can you write down all your responses? So I'm holding once again my cell phone. So I'm going to read your responses. So according to Madam Kat Siron, picture one, teacher-centered or traditional teaching. Okay. And Ma'am Luisa Puyo, the first, let's focus first on the first picture only, the picture on the right, on the left side, I mean. So, from Ma'am Luisa Puyo, she said, the first picture is a classroom setting with students are studying. Yes, it's true. Then from Ma'am Lian, picture one centered, teacher centered, and looks like traditional classroom. So from Ma'am Riza Regalia, picture one shows teacher centered approach, while picture two shows learner centered approach. The learners collaborative to do their tasks. Okay. Picture two. Okay, no, no, we're not focused more on picture two first. We were going to have the picture one. So according to Madam Sharina, picture one is teacher-centered. To Madam Katsiron, or to Madam Maricon Francia, she said, listening to the teacher spoon feeding. Okay. To Madam Alangkaw Nympha D, picture one, teacher-centered. Okay. So all of your responses with regards to picture one are correct. Okay, and it is traditional instruction or traditional approach. So now let's move on to the next picture. Can you please write your observation in our chat pane? So let me see the responses coming from our audience. So picture two, okay, it says that the learners are having activity. Okay, so from Madam Rowena Santos, she said, inquiry, picture two, inquiry-based teaching and learning by doing. Yes, it's good. It's good. According to okay, constructivist approach to Madam Shalon Lumaglas, yes, they experience learners learns best from their experiences. Then according to Ma'am Lian Santos, she said picture two, learner centered. Then to Madam Roxane Guetan, she said, okay, collaboration or the learners having collaboration. Picture two from Commencita Aguila, she said, is collaborative. Okay. Madam Kat Siron, student centered. From Madam Lian Kidangen from our Facebook Live, she said, okay, she said, let me just read, with interaction from Ryan Duran. He said, um, inquiry, and then manipulative, according to teacher Will De Vera. So very good, my dear audience, my global audience, no? All of your responses is correct. With these second pictures, we entails inquiry-based learning or inquiry-based approach, wherein it is more on collaboration, more on student-centered, because the teachers act as facilitators of learning. But our discussion doesn't end here. We were going to compare, okay, we were going to compare inquiry-based approach to traditional approach, which is our second objective for tonight. Okay? So let's get it on. Let's start it. So now, let us compare the traditional approach versus inquiry-based approach. So as you can see in our screen, we have three tables. We have three. Okay, the first one is indicator. The second is the traditional approach. The third one is the inquiry-based approach. Okay. Now, let's have the first indicator, which is content focus or more on content. In traditional approach is what we know, which means a while back from the um, responses of our participants all around the world, it is more on spoon feeding. Okay, we get the information from the teacher. The teacher keep on talking, having chalk talk. The student are in the classroom sitting. While in inquiry-based approach, how we come to know, meaning we experience it. We have an activity, we are all moving, and the teacher is just facilitators of learning. So when it comes to when it comes to content, okay, we are skilled. We are already having the skills for inquiry-based approach. While in traditional approach, we just only get what the teachers taught us. Okay. The next indicator is the role of the teacher. So the role of the teacher, okay, for the traditional approach, the teacher gives information about what is known, meaning what is on the book, he or she just teaching it, talking inside the classroom in front of the class. While in inquiry-based approach, like I said a while back, teachers act as a facilitator of learning, which means they roam around like a piaget. They go to another corner, to another corner, and then monitoring the students, doing their activities. Then they are just only facilitating the learning or the learners. That is the role of the teacher. Next is the role of the learner. So for traditional approach, as what we saw in the picture, okay, the learners just receive information because in traditional they are just sitting inside the classroom. And inquiry-based approach, the learners construct knowledge, which means they are working on it, they are doing on it, and they will through guided discovery they will learn. They have the concrete knowledge. Okay, and that is for the role of the learners. Next is for the assessment. For the assessment, okay, or assessment focus, in traditional approach, it is more on content understanding, which means what is written on the book, And for inquiry-based approach, the skills are developed in addition to content understanding, which means what is written on the book. So in inquiry-based approach, what is written on the book, they already learned it, and it is coupled with different skills because they experienced those skills, they manipulated those skills. And once again, those skills are what? Collaborative skills, inquiry-based approach, I'm sorry, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, media literacy skills, and many more. Okay, they are not just only in the content, but also they develop the skills, and that is for inquiry-based approach when it comes to assessment. Okay, and of course, for the indicator goal, okay, For the traditional approach, in school, success and preparation for the next grade level. Let's say, for example, you are grade 8 now, okay? Then you will be prepared for the next grade level, which is grade 9 in traditional approach. But in inquiry-based approach, in school success and preparation for lifelong learners or learning, which means since you are embodying the skills, okay, embodying the skills that you need that the teachers taught you inside the classroom, meaning you are readily you are ready to to face any challenges inside and outside of the classroom, okay, or any problem that may arise, you are ready because you are imbued with different skills taught by your teacher, of course, okay, and that is for the goal. And for the last one, I think this is the last one, it is the use of resources. Okay. For the use of resources in traditional approach, okay, limited to what is available in the class, meaning what is in the class, is in the classroom, all the materials there, the learners will just use it. While in inquiry-based approach, all the use resources beyond the classroom, meaning in and outside of the classroom, even the environment that surrounds them, even at house or in their houses, they can use for the sake of learning, which means can go beyond the classroom. It can be the environment, it can be outside world, or anything that they can learn from it outside of the classroom. And that is for the use of resources. And that is the comparison between, okay, that is the comparison between the traditional approach and inquiry-based approach. And that ends the second objective for tonight. So I hope you learn from me with regards to the thorough discussion of the definition of the inquiry-based approach and the comparison between the traditional and inquiry-based approach. And I encourage all the teachers all around the world that kindly please use inquiry-based approach because pre-pandemic, with pandemic, without pandemic, you can use this approach. So with that, thank you so much for listening. God bless us all and mabuhay. So let me end by saying the tagline of IGP or Institute of Global Professional, feed your skills. Good evening and mabuhay. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something. So Madam Rohamina, that ends my topic for tonight. Ma'am Rohamina, are you there? So thank you so much for the, and also of course I would like to thank our global audience, our global participants. Thank you so much for your active participation. So you really did good and you really made my night. Thank you so much. So I can see comments from our comment section in the YouTube congratulating me. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something from me. Okay. So Ma'am Rohamina, are you there?
No, sir, she's not here.
Okay, so what will be the next, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
May
Yes,
I
sir.
stop presenting now?
Sure, sir. Already stopped. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you, sir Vedantar, for your support from the comment section. Ma'am
Yes,
Rohamina
sir.
is not
Thank you so
here. I
much. And
think
I'm
she
so
is.
glad that I hear good responses coming from our global audience. And I'm so very honored and grateful to be here in this platform.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and definitely see you again in the Q&A portion.
Sir, back to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, and see you again in the next Q&A portion.
Yes,
Right now, I'm
sir.
going to invite our second speaker, Ma'am Nancy. Yes, Ma'am Nancy. I would like to directly invite Ma'am Nancy in the stage because actually I don't have any profile of Ma'am Nancy. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to I would like to ask you that please say something brief about yourself to our global audience.
Okay, sir.
And you can share also, ma'am. You can also share your.
Sir, kindly add stream.
Pleased to be with all the people responsible in setting up an event such as this. My greetings to the well-respected authorities of the Department of Education, DepEd Philippines, and to the competent group of people of the Institute of Global Professionals. A blessed evening to one and all. I am Nancy M. Garcia, a licensed professional teacher and academic requirements completer, leading to the Doctor of Education from Lyceum Northwestern University in the Philippines. I started my journey of being a public school teacher through the baptism of fire, having been designated to a school that was established in the aftermath of Mount Pinatubo eruption in 1991. A consistent honor student from elementary to high school. I continued the work ethics and professional vigor during my tenure as classroom teacher in the Black High School. In 2009, I finally rose to the rank of Head Teacher 1, and in 2012, Head Teacher 3 of the Mathematics Department of the Black High School. Eventually, in 2015, I was designated as OIC School Head of Bamban Gabaldon Elementary School. This is a testament of my astonishing performance as a school manager, and thus began my exciting journey as a school head. Guided by my principle in life, destiny is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for, but a thing to be achieved. One of the most important accomplishments I have earned as a school head and as a professional was that when I was awarded as the 2020 Dangal ng Bayan Regional Award bestowed by the Civil Service Commission Honor Awards Program. Currently, I am now the head teacher 6 of the Math Department at the Top High School, Bambantarlac, Philippines. This opens another chapter for me as department head of a secondary school, but the trust and support of the officials of the Department of Education, Division of Tarlac Province, along with the teachers, learners, and the community I serve, will always be my greatest companions as I champion delivery of quality education and holistic development of learners and the community. Thank you so much and mabuhay!
Hello, ma'am Rohamina. Can you hear me? Ma'am Nancy, we can't see you, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
We can't see you, ma'am. Just open your cam.
Sorry, sir.
Mhm.
Good luck, Mom.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, Mom, open your camera.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Sorry for
wonderful.
that. Will I start, ma'am, my presentation?
Yes, sure, Mom. You can start it now.
Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, a pleasant evening to all of you. It is with great honor to be with you tonight virtually. But before I will start my discussion, please allow me to share with you some words of gratitude to those who were instrumental in making this event a possible one. Initially, to Dr. Kaushik Datta, the director and founder of Institute of Global Professional. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity to serve as one of the speakers in this webinar. To Dr. Ronaldo A. Pozon, CESO 5 Schools Division Superintendent of Tarlac Province, who provided me with constant encouragement and inspiration. To Sir Augusto L. Ballesteros and Dr. Conrado C. Domingo, Education Program Supervisor 1 in Mathematics and Science respectively. Thank you, sir, for the support. To Dr. Ariel V. Sicalbo, Principal 2 of Dapdap High School, whose support and trust in me proved to be life-changing. To Dr. Redentor Tabamo, Head Teacher 3 from Benigno S. Aquino National High School, and to his friend, Sir Hill, thank you so much, sir, for the recommendation. To Dapdap High School family, especially my co-head teachers, the Science and Mathematics Department, to the BFFs of Sir Nars, especially to Sir Archie, to Ma'am Shah and Sir Kelvin. Thank you so much for the technical assistance and support as well. To my family who are watching right now, the source of my inner strength and the reason of my being and joy, thank you so much. And above all, to God Almighty, all the glory is yours. We done talking about the 21st century education, the characteristics of 21st century teachers, as well as learners. Sir Nars also discussed the inquiry-based approach. And now, before we move on to our next topic, let's have first a quick recap based on inquiry-based approach. So based from the discussion earlier, inquiry-based approach in the 21st teaching is allowing students questions and curiosities to drive them to participate in the discussions and activities. It is also a learning and teaching approach that emphasizes students' questions, ideas, and observations. We, the teachers, actively encourage our students to share their thoughts and to respectfully challenge, test, and redefine ideas, wherein the teachers and learners share responsibility for learning. In other words, inquiry-based approach sparks students' curiosity. Moreover, it relies upon the idea that the individuals are able to learn by investigating scenarios and problems and through social experiences. So tonight, I am going to discuss the 4 levels of inquiry, the 5 and 7 E's in the inquiry-based learning. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching and listening with understanding. So, let's switch on the discussion. So what are the session objectives? The first objective is to differentiate open, guided, structured, and limited inquiry from one another. And last but not the least is to explain the 5 and 7 E's in inquiry-based learning. So to start with, what are the 4 levels of inquiry? Do you think this inquiry level is the same throughout the grade levels? So it's time for you to find out as we go along on our discussion. So the 4 levels of inquiry are, first level, we have the limited. Next, structured. The third level is the guided. And the fourth level is the open inquiry. So let's start with the limited inquiry. So when we say limited, meaning it has something to do with a traditional way of teaching and learning process. Next, we have structured inquiry. So no predetermined answer. Conclusion based solely on student investigation. And the third level is the guided inquiry. No predetermined method. Students must determine how to investigate the problem. And the last level is the open inquiry. No predetermined question, so students propose and pursue their own questions. So let's talk more about the following level of inquiry in the next slides. So, as I've said a while ago, the first level of inquiry is limited inquiry. So in this level, learners are provided with the questions and procedure, as well as the results, which are known in advance. Take note that limited inquiry is traditional and is limited. Students follow the directions and make sure their results match those given in the text. So let's have an example of phrase in a chemistry lecture in this limited inquiry. So in this investigation, you will confirm that the rate of chemical reaction increases as the temperature of the reacting material increases. You will use different antacid tablets, effervescent antacid tablets, to verify this principle using the following procedure. So record the results as indicated and answer the questions at the end of the activity. So in this level of inquiry, the teacher is already giving the problem, the procedure, and the students already know the answer or solution in advance. So the task of the learners now in this level of inquiry is to confirm the given principle through an activity. So the next level is structured inquiry. In this level of inquiry, it introduces learners to the experience of conducting investigation or practice a specific inquiry skill. And in structured inquiry, the students investigate a teacher-presented question through a prescribed procedure and receive explicit step-by-step guidelines at each stage, leading to a predetermined outcome, the solution or answer or solution, similar to following a recipe. Example of a phrase again. So in this investigation, you will determine the relationship between temperature and the reaction rate of effervescent antacid tablets and water. So you will use effervescent antacid tablets and water of varying temperatures. Using the following procedures, record the results as indicated and answer the questions at the end of the activity. So in this level of inquiry, the teacher gives the problem, then the procedure, but the learners have to find out the answer or solution. So now, you can now differentiate limited to structured inquiry. And the third level of inquiry is the guided inquiry. In this level, the questions are still provided by the teacher. So learners generate an explanation supported by evidence they have collected. In guided inquiry, students investigate questions and procedures that the teachers present to them. But the students themselves, working collaboratively, decide the processes to be followed and the solutions to be targeted. The results are not foreknown to the teachers and students. Again, an example of a phrase in this level. So, design an investigation to answer the question. So, what effect will water temperature have on the rate at which effervescent antacid tablet will react? So, develop each component of the investigation, including a hypothesis, procedures, data analysis, and conclusion. Implement your procedure only when it has been approved by your teacher. So in this level of inquiry, the teachers serve as a facilitator. We let our learners do the procedure, even though we give our learners the choices to do the procedure. Make sure that our learners are safe in doing such procedure. And the teacher should also check their procedure. This is the time also for the teacher to give feedbacks if he or she noticed that something is not right. Again, in the guided inquiry, the teacher gives the problem. The learners makes their own procedure or processes with the guidance of the teacher, of course. And finally, the learners find their own solution. And the fourth level, we have the open inquiry. So in this level, the learners have the opportunity to act like scientists, derive questions, design and carry out investigations, as well as communicate results of an investigation. So in open inquiry, which is the most complex level of inquiry-based learning, teachers define the knowledge framework in which the inquiry will be conducted, but allows the students to select a wide variety of inquiry questions and approaches. Thus, students are engaged in continuous decision-making throughout each stage of the open inquiry process. So, starting from the stage of finding the interesting phenomenon to be inquired. So, take for example, learners are asked to design an investigation to explore and research a chemistry topic related to the concepts we have been studying during the current unit on chemical reactions. Implement your procedure only when it has been approved by your teacher. So in the last level of inquiry, the teacher lets the learners to choose their problem, which is related to their topic, formulate their own procedures, and carry out their procedures if it was approved by their teacher to be able to find the answer or solution. So I hope I am making myself clear here. So if you have some questions, you just reserve your questions, and after the discussion, we will deal with that. So to sum it up, each level of inquiry, as you can see in the table, in limited inquiry, the problem is given by the teacher. Procedure is also given by the teacher. And the solution is also given by the teacher. Again, in here, what just the students do is to make sure their results match the solution that is already given by the teacher. That is the reason why we called it limited. In structured inquiry, the problem and procedure is given by the teachers, and the solution comes from the learners. So this one is better than the limited inquiry, because in here, the answer comes from the student itself. And the third one is the guided inquiry. Here, the only thing that is given by the teacher is the problem itself, but the procedure and the solution will come from the students. They investigate questions and procedures that teachers present to them. And that's the time they make their own process and answer the given problem. So far, among the three levels, the guided inquiry is better than that of the other two. But let's move on to the last level of inquiry, which is the open inquiry. So in the open inquiry, students are the ones who will come up with a problem, make their own procedure, have an answer out of it. Again, it is the most complex level of inquiry-based learning. Because here, we are trying to allow the students to select a wide variety of inquiry questions and approaches. That's why open inquiry level elicits higher order thinking skills which develop to critical thinking. And that is one of the characteristics of the 21st century learners, which is creative and critical thinker. So now, let's move on to the 5 and 7 E's in the inquiry-based learning. According to Roger Bybee, the 5E model of instruction promotes active learning. Students are involved in more than listening and reading. They learn to ask questions, observe, model, analyze, explain, draw conclusions, argue from evidence, and talk about their own understanding. Students work collaboratively with peers to construct explanation, solve problems, and plan and carry out investigation. So in the 5E model, as you can see in the given slide, first, we have the engage phase. Next, explore. The third phase is explain. The fourth one is elaborate. And the last phase is evaluate. So the first phase of the 5E model engages students by having them mentally focus on a phenomenon, object, problem, situation, or event. So we are talking about focus attention and stimulate interest. This is the time we are getting our students' attention by trying to get their interest. The activities in the engage phase are designed to help students make connections between past and present learning experiences, expose prior conceptions, and organize thinking toward the essential questions and learning outcomes of the learning sequence. So the role now of the teacher in the engage phase is to present a situation, identify the instructional task, and set the rules and procedures for the activities. So we can do this through picture analysis, video analysis, and presenting discrepant events. So these are the following ways or strategies for us to engage to our learners. First, generate interest. As a teacher, we have to know every student in our class, isn't it? Because that is the way we can generate their interest and use it in engaging them in the teaching process. Next, access prior knowledge. Then connect past knowledge, set parameters of the focus, and frame the idea. Now, let's talk about what should be the teacher's behavior in trying to engage to the student. Teachers should know how to motivate, create interest, taps into what learners know or think about the topic, raises questions, and encourages responses. So with these given strategies and behavior, it would be very easy for us teachers to engage to our students. And if we are doing a great job, or if we are doing our part in the engagement process, this will be our learners' behavior. So students will be able to listen attentively, ask questions, demonstrate interest in the lesson, response to questions, demonstrating their own entry point of understanding. So you see, if teachers are doing the part in engaging the learners, there will surely be responses from the students. And it would be the start of active learning. The next phase is the explore. So in this phase, it investigate and collect information. Once students have engaged in activities, they need time to explore ideas. Explore activities are designed so all students have common, concrete experiences which can be used later when formally introducing and discussing scientific and technological concepts and explanations. Students have time to investigate objects, events, or situations. As a result of their mental and physical involvement in these activities, students question events, observe patterns, identify and test variables, and establish causal relationship. So in this phase, we can do this through hands-on laboratory activity. Moving on, so the different ways to explore are the following: experience key concepts, discover new skills, probe, inquire, and question experiences, examine their thinking, and establish relationships and understanding. So now let's talk about what should be the teacher's behavior in trying to let the students explore. Teachers should act as a facilitator, observe and listen to learners as they interact, ask good inquiry-oriented questions, provide time for learners to think and to reflect, encourage cooperative learning. Example, so with this given strategies and behavior, it would be very easy for us teachers to let our students explore. And if we are doing a great job, or if we are doing our part again in the exploring process, this will be our learners' behavior. Conduct activities, predicts, and forms hypotheses or make generalizations. They would become a good listener. They will share ideas and suspend judgment, records observations and or generalizations. They will also participate in discussing tentative alternatives. Next, we have to explain, and that is the third phase. So, in the third phase, it consists of two parts. First, the teacher asks students to share their initial models and explanations from experiences in the engage and explore phases. Second, the teacher provides resources and information to support student learning and introduces scientific or technological concepts. So students use these resources and information as well as ideas of other students to construct or revise their evidence-based models and explanations. So students can do this through reporting and role-playing. So for the ways to explain, we should connect prior knowledge and background to new discoveries, communicate new understandings, connect informal language to formal language. So these are the things we should do as a teacher in the explain phase. We should encourage our learners to explain their observations and findings in their own words. We should also provide definitions, new words, and explanations. We should listen and build upon discussion from learners. Ask for clarification and justification. And lastly, we should accept all reasonable responses from our learners. And once again, with these given strategies and behavior, it would be very easy for us teachers to explain to our students the topics being discussed. And if we are doing a great job, if we are doing our part in the explaining process or phase, this will be our learners' behavior. They will be able to explain, listen, define, and ask questions. Students will also use previous observations and findings. They may provide reasonable responses to questions. And lastly, they will interact in a positive, supportive manner. And the fourth phase, we have the elaboration part. So in this phase, it expands and solidifies thinking, often through application to a real-world problem. Once students have constructed explanation of a phenomenon or design solutions for a problem, it is important to involve them in further experiences that apply, extend, or elaborate the concepts, processes, or skills they are learning. Some students may still have misconceptions, or they may only understand a concept in terms of the exploratory experience. Elaborate activities provide time for students to apply their understanding of concepts and skills. They might apply their understanding to similar phenomena or problems. So we can do this through, again, hands-on lab and doing studies. And for the ways in elaborating during the discussion, this is when we apply new learning to a new similar situation. Extend and explain concept being explored. Communicate new understanding with formal language. So as a teacher, these are the things we should do in the exploring process. We should use previously learned information as a vehicle to enhance additional learning. Encourage learners to apply or extend the new concepts and skills. Encourage learners to use terms and definitions previously acquired. And once again, with these given strategies and behavior, it would be very easy for us teachers to let our students explore their ideas in the discussion. And if we are doing a great job, or if we are doing our part in the exploring phase, this will be our learners' behavior. They will apply new terms and definitions. Students will use previous information to probe, ask questions, and make reasonable judgment, provide reasonable conclusions and solutions. And they will record observations, explanations, and solutions. And the last one in the 5E model is the evaluation part, wherein we as teacher assessed our students' understanding. It is important that students receive feedback on the quality of their explanations. Informally, this may happen throughout the learning sequence. Formally, the teacher can also administer a summative evaluation at the end of the learning sequence. So the evaluate phase encourages students to assess their understanding and abilities and allows teachers to evaluate individual student progress toward achieving learning goals and outcomes. An example in this phase is an open-ended questions, self-evaluation, demonstration, journal, drawing performance, task. So for the ways on how the students after the discussion assess understanding, demonstrate understanding of new concept by observation or open-ended response. Apply within problem situation, show evidence of accomplishment. And in the assessment phase or evaluation, these are the things that the teacher should do. We should observe learners' behavior as they explore and apply new concepts and skills. Assess learners' knowledge and skills. Teachers should encourage learners to assess their own learning. And lastly, is to ask open-ended questions. And for the learner's behavior, they may be able to demonstrate an understanding or knowledge of concepts and skills, evaluates his or her own progress, answers open-ended questions, provides reasonable responses and explanations to phenomena. So those are now the 5 learning model. So now let's look at the enhancement of the instructional models. Under Atkin and Karplas Learning Cycle Science Curriculum Improvement Study in 1960, we started with exploration, invention, and discovery. Later on, they came up with application, introduction, concept, application. And then, in the 1980s, the BSCS 5E instructional model, which we have been discussed. We have the engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. So, later on, they made an expansion in the 5E instructional model, which is now the 7E that we are going to talk about in the next slides. So, a while ago, we discussed only the 5 ones, which are the engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Now, we have the 7E model, wherein the elicit and extend phase are added. And the goal of the 7E learning model is to emphasize the increasing importance of eliciting prior understanding and extending or transfer of concept. So these are the bases of expanding the 5E model. Eliciting prior knowledge is a necessary component of learning process. Why? To ensure that the concepts they develop are correct and not misconceptions. They can be done by framing a "what do you think" question. Expert learners are much more adept at the transfer of learning than novice. Hence, practice in the transfer of learning is required in good instruction. So, what is are added to 5E model to become 7E? So, the first E is elicit. So, prior knowledge is drawn out from the learners. Teacher extracts or draws attention to prior understanding and knowledge. New knowledge is built on existing knowledge. This assists in transferring knowledge. And the second E that is being added is the extend. It ensures that knowledge is applied in a new context and is not limited to simple elaboration transfer of learning. This stage is added to elaborate with the intention to explicitly remind teachers of the importance for students to practice the transfer of learning. Teachers need to make sure that knowledge is applied in a new context and is not limited to simple elaboration. Okay? So, I think I'm done with my discussion. So, the success of teaching And learning is founded on the quality of relationship built between the teacher and the student. The teacher manages the motivational climate of the classroom to foster learning-focused relationship with students, with shared ownership of and responsibility for learning. So this provides students with the maximum opportunity to build their own motivation to learn. It is now a big challenge on our part as a teacher to make our teaching a learner-centered environment for learning to happen. Are we going to accept the challenge? The answer lies in your heart. So please allow me to share with you a quotation taken from the Training House website, New Jersey, and it goes like this. People learn best not by being told, but by experiencing the consequences of their own thoughts and actions. So before I end my topic, I would like to share a video presentation. If it is copyrighted also, produced and copyrighted by the Discovery Day Academy. So let me first stop my presentation.
Okay. Finish, Mom?
Not yet, ma'am. Sir, can I add the stream?
Okay. Sure.
Hello, sir. Maybe it is also copyrighted. So once again, thank you so much, our global audience, for bearing with us. Okay. Okay, so in closing, in closing, I would like to share what Confucius said, and I quote, "I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand." So with that, once again, thank you so much, our global audience. Keep safe and thank you for listening.
Wow, wonderful presentations, Mom. I salute
Thank you so
you,
much, ma'am.
Sir Ambrosio, for your wonderful presentations. Very clear with examples and the way you deliver the topic. Very interesting, energetic. So
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much, ma'am.
much,
Thank you so
Mom
much, ma'am.
Nancy and Dr. Ambrosio, for your remarkable presentations tonight.
Thank you,
Thank,
thank you, thank you, ma'am.
thank
Okay,
you so
so
much, ma'am.
again, don't remember the levels of inquiry of Mom Nancy and the 5 and 7 E's in inquiry based learning, and also the topic of Dr. Ambrosio. Very nice. Very
Thank
nice.
you,
Thanks a
ma'am.
lot.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you so
so
much, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
our
ma'am.
lovely participants, please let us thank Ma'am Nancy and Dr. Ambrosio for their wonderful presentations tonight. Give a
Thank you.
virtual round of
Thank you,
thank
Thank
you
you
thank
so
you,
so
much.
thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
Welcome. Good job.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so see you later, Mom and Sir, for Q&A portion. Okay,
Okay.
Okay,
so
ma'am.
now let us move on to our quiz competition. Okay, so be ready for our quiz competition. So this is the code of tonight's quiz competition, IGP quiz. Please go to www.slido.com and the code is IGP quiz. The code is also available in the comment box. Okay, everybody, please join. Go to www.slido.com and the code is IGP quiz. Okay, very good. Right now we already have 77 participants. Okay, so please join. Okay, so the code is IGP quiz. Okay, very good. And please, when you join, use your complete name for your certificate. Wonderful. We already have 117 participants. Oh, 127 and counting. Very good. So again, the code is IGP quiz. So I think let's start. Okay, question number 1. It expands and solidifies thinking, often through application to a real world problem. A. Explore. B. Elaborate. Okay, so that is question number 1. Okay, 76% of the participants said A. Explore, while 24% said elaborate. So let us find out the correct answer for question number 1. Okay, so the correct answer is letter B, elaborate, and only 24% of the participants got the correct answer. Okay, so don't worry, that is only question number 1. So let us move on to question number 2. It focuses on attention and stimulates interest. A. Engage. B. Explain. Okay, so what is your answer? A. Engage, or B. Explain. Okay, 94% answered engage, and that is the correct answer. Okay, good job. Good job, our lovely participants. And let us move on to question number 3. Question number 3 is, which of the following is the importance of inquiry-based approach in teaching? A. Prepare learners to live in a world that is static. Or B. Provide learners tools for continuing to learn. So what is your question? What is your answer? Okay, 75% of the participants said letter B, provide learners tools for continuing to learn, while 25% said prepare learners to live in a world that is static. Okay, let us find out the correct answer. Okay, very good. The correct answer is letter B. And 75% of the participants got the correct answer. Oh, top 1 is Sir Dennis. Very good. Okay, question number 4. Inquiry-based approach, and the 21st teaching begins with gathering information through applying which of the human senses? A. Seeing and hearing. B. Seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. So what is your answer for question number 4? Okay, so 83% answered B, and that is the correct answer for question number 4. Okay, very good. Okay, still the top 1 is Sir Dennis. Okay, let us move on to the question number 5. What approach encourages learners to question, conduct research for genuine reasons, and make discoveries on their own? A. Innovative learning approach, or B. Inquiry-based approach. Okay, so 91% of the participants got the correct answer. Very good. Okay, still the top 1 is Sir Dennis. Okay, so let us move on to question number 6. Which of the following does not belong to dominant activities in an inquiry-based classroom? A. Questioning. B. Content understanding. Okay, so 79% answered B, content understanding, while only 21% answered questioning. Okay, so let us find out the correct answer. Okay, very good. So 79% of the participants got the correct answer. Okay, so let us move on to question number 7. Wow, Sir Dennis, still the top one. Okay, question number 7. Level of inquiry that explains no predetermined answer. Conclusions based solely on student investigation. A. Open inquiry. B. Structured inquiry. Okay, so 70% of the participants answered open inquiry, while 30% said structured inquiry, and that is the correct answer. Very good. Oh, still, Sir Dennis is the top one. Okay, question number 8. Learners have the opportunity to act like scientists, derive questions, design and carry out investigations, as well as communicate results of an investigation. Is it open inquiry or structured inquiry? Oh, only 7% answer structured inquiry, while 93% said open inquiry, and that is the correct answer. Okay, now the top one is Sir Carlo. Question number 9. It expands and solidifies thinking, often through application to a real-world problem. A. Engage. B. Elaborate. Okay, so let us find out the correct answer. Okay, so the correct answer is letter B, elaborate, and only 60% of the participants got the correct answer. Okay, last question. What approach that students learn about information before understanding how it might be useful? A. Innovative learning approach, or B. Traditional teaching methods. Okay, so the correct answer for number 10 is traditional teaching methods, and only 40% of the participants got the correct answer. Okay, so now let us find out the top 10 winners for tonight's quiz competition. Okay, the top one is Sir Carlo P. Malabanan. Very good. Congratulations to all of you, especially to the top 10 winners for tonight's quiz competition. Okay, so don't worry, we are all winners. Okay, so once again, congratulations to the top 10 winners for tonight's quiz competition. Okay, I cannot read your name one by one because I am just using my cell phone due to technical problem. Okay, so now our lovely participants, be ready for Q&A portion. Okay, so please, when you ask question, stated the name of the speaker that you want to answer the question. Okay, once again, hi sir and hi
Ay.
mom. Are you ready for yes Q&A?
Hello, good evening once again.
Good evening, Ma'am Rohamina. Good evening
Yes.
once again to our global participants,
Yes,
audience.
good evening. Okay, so sir and mom, are you ready? We already have question
Mhm.
from Mom Louisa. Hello, Mom Louisa. Good evening. So
Hello.
the question is, what is the inquiry-based integrative lesson idea? How we could implement this to our classroom? This is addressed to Sir Narciso. Sir,
Okay, ma'am.
can you
Hello.
answer the question
Hello.
of
Thank you
Mom
so
Louisa?
much. Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Madam Rohamina. And once again, thank you, Madam Luisa Puyo, for that question. Actually, ma'am, inquiry-based integrative lesson idea, as the teacher, okay, it can be in physical or virtual classroom. You can going to use this one by using the higher order thinking skills question by throwing question how, starting with how and why. In this case, ma'am, we are able to um, let learners to think critically. So in that case, you were going to implement the inquiry-based integrative lesson to our learners, and we can have collaboration among them in the field or in the physical classroom, and individually they can share their thoughts about how you ask the question to the learners. As I said, it should be starting with how and why question. That is an inquiry-based integrative lesson idea. Remember, we
How?
develop hats, so therefore, the inquiry-based integrative lesson idea should always started with the hows and why question. And of course, in the generalization process as well, you must you must use hats questions or the higher order thinking skills questions. I hope I answered your question, ma'am.
Yes, very nice answer, sir. But sir, I have a question. Are you using also? Are you in live Facebook? Because we can
I
hear
already turned
the
off.
echo.
Wait, I already turned off my cell phone, ma'am. But I
Okay.
can access. Uh, I will just get my phone.
No, 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 no. So what I mean, just turn it off because we
Okay.
can hear your second voice. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
so that's very nice answer. Very nice answer. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we have another question from Sir Feruz. Hi, sir. To
Yes.
Mr. Ambrosio. Okay. I am in a full favor of IBA, inquiry based
Yes.
approach. However, when it is applied to large size classes at public schools, colleges, universities, does it still work effectively given the time limit of the class and control of unpopulated classroom? Thank you so much,
Hello.
Sir Feroz, for your wonderful.
Hello, Sir Ferus Arbarov. So, I am so very grateful with that question. Automatically, sir, the answer is yes. It's still effective, whatever kind of class size we have. What we're going to do as the teacher, let's say, for example, in a public school, we have 100, or in some cases in public school, we have 70 to 100 or to 90 students. So what we're going to do as the teacher, in order for us to incorporate inquiry-based approach in teaching, we need to divide them. And then we were going to use differentiated instruction. Therefore, let's say, for example, we divided, if there are 70 students, we will going to divide them into 7 groups. So each group will have 10 participants or members. So, with the use of inquiry-based approach coupled with differentiated instruction, therefore, you may give, let's say, for example, group one, let's say your topic is all about respiratory system. The group one will focus more on lungs. They may have a role playing or they may have reporting. And the group two, let's say, for example, the usage of the, or how the oxygen passes through our body. That's for the group two. Let's say they will act as blood vessels or blood cells. And for group two, you may give them an activity of having role playing, and then other is collaborative learning. Then group three, you may give them like they will have what do you call this activity, having reporting, and then a role playing
Yeah.
and other differentiated instruction that the learners they may use in order for them to be to become what do you call this one, well aware, or to have their participation in the class, even though we are having a large students in the classroom. Once again, that is inquiry based approach coupled with differentiated instruction. Therefore, as the teacher, we divide the learners into groups, and then each group they have different
Mm.
activities, and still that is inquiry based approach.
Yes, we need to divide the students. Yes, very nice
Yes.
answers, sir. Very clear. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you so
And
much.
I hope, Sir Feroz, we answer your questions clear. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
another question from Sir George Enoch. I hope I pronounce your name correctly, sir. So the question is, what tips can you give to the teachers and students during this pandemic based on inquiry-based approach, since we only have two modalities today, the online mode of class and modular? So sir, what can you give?
Okay.
Okay, what advice can you
Um.
give?
So
Okay,
to
thank you
Sir
so
George
much.
Enoch. So since still we are in pandemic time and we have two modalities, learning modalities, the classroom or online, I mean online
Mhm,
mode and the modular mode. So when it comes to online
mhm,
mode, of course, we can throw HATS question in our class. We can give online kamustahan. We can discuss virtually like we are doing. And then for the modular mode, we can give learning activity sheets which provided simple detailed lecture and simple performance tasks and simple
mm,
written works. In that case, you are going to address learning whatever mode it is. Of course, in the modular, it's just purely written, but of course, as the teacher, you write instructions wherein the what are the students needs to do. And of course, since it's modular, advise them also that they need to stay at home and follow the IATF protocols,
Mm-mm.
so whatever activities that you advise them to do in the modular approach.
Yes, that's true. That's true, sir. Uh, the teacher should have a clear instruction.
Yes.
Okay, so very nice. Mom, Nancy, do you want to add? Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful question, wonderful
Yeah.
answer.
Thank you
Mom
so
Nancy, do you
much.
want to add?
So, yes, ma'am, regarding the first question a while back. So in this pandemic time, the two modalities that we use is the online modality or the distance learning and the modular distance learning. So in that case, just like
Mm-mm.
what have said, what Sir Nurse said, we can have it on the online. In our case here in the Philippines, just like in our school, we use the online kumustahan, wherein we get the feedbacks of the parents, the learners,
Mm-mm.
regarding their learnings. Wherein, as we all know,
Mm-mm.
we face hard. We really, sir,
Difficulties,
mag-feedback ko
yes.
yata.
Uh,
Okay. So in this pandemic time, we are facing challenges, different challenges we encounter, especially in the classroom setting, because it is new normal. So it is a new normal. So in that case, it is on the part of the teacher to reach out the learners in this pandemic
Mm-mm.
time. So thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mom, for your wonderful answer. And then another question, Mom, from Mom Shalon. Okay, hello, Mom Shalon. Good evening. So, to Mom Nancy, we are all aware of the issues that parents are the ones who are answering the modules and making projects. How can an open inquiry be an efficient and effective? Thank you so much, Mom Shalon, for your wonderful question. Okay, Mom
Okay,
Nancy.
so thank you, Ma'am Shalom, for that question. So, based from the discussion, we have said that in the open inquiry, the problem comes from the students. Then, the procedures also comes from the students. And at the same time, the solutions. From the question, how can an open inquiry be an efficient and effective if we know that the parents are the ones doing the activity sheets.
Activity.
So
Mm-mm.
maybe I can suggest that um, we can have it uh, with the learners through online instead of sending it in the modular. So we can have an open inquiry based to know whether if the students really answer the activity. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
yes. And can I add, ma'am, to the answer of Madam Nancy?
Feedback.
Okay, of course, we all know that in this time of pandemic, some of the modules are answered by parents. But of course, as teacher, we need to remind our learners to answer their modules with honesty. We must inculcate the word
Mm-mm.
honesty to them, because at the end of the day, it's God who will going to judge them, not us as teachers, right? So as teachers, what we're going to do is just to remind them that they need to answer in all honesty with academic integrity. That's all, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. That's true, sir. The students must be honest. Must be honest. Okay, so thanks a lot, Sir Ambrosio and Mom Nancy. So another question from Mom Mary. In
Mary,
making
Ju,
lesson plan methodology, which do you prefer, using 5E or 7E? Why? And why do
okay.
you think it is much more applicable to use? This question is addressed to Mom Nancy. Okay, question, Mom Nancy, from
Okay,
Mom Mary. Mom Mary, thank
thank you, Ma'am Mary, for that question. In the methodology of lesson planning, I would prefer the 7E. Why? Because in the 7E, we have the elicit, wherein we elicit the interest, or we create a higher order thinking skills from our students. And at the same time, there is an extension of learning, or in other words, we apply what we have learned from the discussion. So, in my case, I would prefer the 7E. Thank you, ma'am. So, Sir Nars,
okay. So,
any?
Yes, I am agree with Madam
yes, I
Nancy because the 7E is the what they call evolved version of the 5 E's, which means in additional of 2 E's, the elicit and extend, it makes the lesson proper or the procedure when it comes to teaching and learning process more rich, more enjoyable, and more interesting. Yes,
okay.
back to you, ma'am.
So, yes, thank you
Mm.
so
This
much.
question was
So
answered
mom
a while back.
prefer the use of seven. Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Ambrosio and Mom Nancy. Thank you. Okay. So
Thank you
another
so
Thank
much
you so
po.
question
much,
from
ma'am.
Mom
And thank you to our
Nancy.
global
Okay.
audience.
Yes. So what is the inquiry-based integrative lesson idea? How we could implement this to our classroom? This is addressed to Sir
Di
Mm-mm.
ba yari na?
Narcy. So,
Actually,
Sir,
ma'am, this question was asked.
last
This is the
question?
first question that was asked a while back. So, like what I
Yes,
said,
I think that is
in the inquiry-based integrative idea, always remember as a teacher, we should have the higher order thinking skills, art of questioning to our learners. We should have the HOTS, starting with why and how, so that the learners will critically think and, of course, respond to the question or to the lesson proper. So I repeat po, the integrative inquiry base lesson idea, always remember as the teacher, we should use the higher order thinking skills, art of questioning. Thank you so
yes,
much.
higher order thinking skills. So, again, thank you so much, Sir Ambrosio and Mom Nancy. Okay, we'll learn a lot from your presentation.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
so
lot.
much.
Okay, so again, to our lovely participants, please let us thank Sir Ambrosio and Ma'am Nancy for their very clear presentations tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ma'am
Thanks a lot.
Rohamina. And once again, thank you to our global audience or participants. And of course, to the organization, thank you so much to Institute of Global Professionals. So what we were going to mention the tagline, feed your skills. So thank you so much for
Yes,
feeding our
feed your
skills and
skills.
feeding the skills of our global audience.
Yes, exactly. Thanks a lot, Dr. Ambrosio and Mom Nancy. Okay, so let us proceed to the announcement. Okay, please note, dear learners, we saw that at this moment you feel difficulties with using the website. We notice all the things and working on it, which is not our program but still our technical team working on it. Okay, so thanks for your patience. For the certificate, please collect it collect the certification link and certificate code at this moment and try it in your free time. Okay, we saw that it occurs when lots of user wants to join our website. This is a temporary problem with our hosting provider. Again, thanks for your patience. Okay, so you can download your e-certificate during your free time. Okay, so because of the max users. And okay, this is the most awaited part of this webinar. So you can take a picture or you can note our code for tonight, IGP 2042. Okay, I repeat, the code of tonight's webinar is IGP 2042 or 2042. Okay, so you can note it and you can download your e-certificate during your convenient time. Okay, so without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificates anytime. Okay, so please don't panic. You can download your certificate tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Okay, so again, thank you so much. Have a good night to all of us. I hope you enjoyed our webinar tonight. Thank you.